Who doesn't talk a whole lot of English, is the referee. He's from Perpignan in France, the southern part of France, down near the Spanish border. A lovely town, medieval town. The Great Britain side in full. Joe Lydon, fullback, three-quarters, Marchant and Gill on the wings. Schofield and Hanley in the centres. Myler and Fox the halves, the forwards. At lock forward, Goodway. Second row, Crooks and Potter. Fieldhouse, Watkins and Ward are the front row. Watkinson, the hooker and captain. The subs are Edwards, 14, and Platt, 50. The coach, Maurice Bamford. And Australia will be running into the breeze in the first half. There's the Australian side. Gary Jack, number 1. Michael O'Connor, 2. Brett Kenny 3, Gene Miles 4, Les Kiss 5. They didn't leave that up very long. They're giving it back to us. Wally Lewis 6 and captain Peter Sterling. Dowling, Simmons, Roach, Cleal, pardon me, Niebling and Lindar. The subs are Terry Lamb and Mal Meninga. Wally Lewis will kick off for Australia. The rain coming down lightly at the moment. Australia running into the breeze. Wally Lewis with his mouthguard popping out of his mouth there, stretching the hamstrings. The Australian forwards like caged lions, and up they go. The rail is off. And the roar goes up as the first tackle comes in, and that was a pretty strong one coming in there on Ian Potter. He's decked on the quarter line. Raskagny has run across field, and he's picked up Brett Kenny and Michael O'Connor for offside. I'm not going to argue with that. I think they were yards offside, and that penalty is 10 metres outside the quarter at the England end. He's failed to find touch, but it comes off Michael O'Connor, and that was a bad blunder by O'Connor in the opening minute. A terrible blunder. That gives the England side the feed, and really that ball probably would have gone over the sideline on the full without any problem had he not attempted to go for it, but now having touched it, they get the feed. Although Sterling's going to put it in. Well, the referees made a blunder there, but nonetheless we'll go on with that. There's a fair bit of strong tackling going on here at the moment, 10 metres outside the Australian quarter. Dowling comes on like an enraged buffalo there with a strong charge, and now there's a penalty against the Englishman for failure to get off the tackled player. Now, I hope the referee is going to be consistent throughout with this. We want to see it not just in the opening couple of minutes and then forgotten. Wally Lewis, no difficulty with finding touch, a gain of about 20 metres. Roy Simmons to do the tap restart. On to Stephen Roach. He's going to pump it up. There's a good tackle right round the legs there by Fieldhouse, the redhead. And he's not a bad player, that man, either. Simmons gets a long pass away there to Niebling, surging his way beyond the advantage line, midfield. Australia handling the conditions okay at the moment. Out to Sterling. Sterling's gone for the kick down. It's going to go into the danger area for it. Gill's lost the ball. It's picked up by Australia, but knocked on according to referee Raskagny. Now he's ruled that Brett Kenny, I believe, knocked the ball on according to what he's telling us, or is it... Yes, Brett Kenny was the man that he claimed knocked the ball on, and I don't know that I necessarily agree with that decision, but we'll say that it was okay. The scrum is a bad one. It's been fallen on by Sterling. The referee's going to have to penalise here. No, he's going to put another scrum down, and it'll be an England feed. Awful looking scrum there. This going down about 10 metres out from the England line. It's in and out the England side. Away to Gill. Gill goes up the side, up the middle of the field and through one tackle, but finally he's put down there by Kenny. Out to Ellery Hanley, trying to run crossfield. He busts one tackle, but they bring him down, and there's a net loss of about 3 metres there. Gene Miles, the tackler. Up the blind side goes Goodway. Goodway goes across the field and goes perilously close to going over the sideline, about 10 metres out. To his feet, plays it back to Schofield. Schofield out to Fox. Fox gets it away to Crooks. Playing, living dangerously at the moment. Got it out to Marler. Marler's got it out to Gill. The cover's coming over. It's Wally Lewis who slows him down. He's evaded 3 defenders. Still going. And now he's put to ground just over the Australian halfway line. Great football there. Good flair by Lee Crooks to spread the ball very wide and give it out to Marler. And Henderson Gill showed an enormous amount of power. He defeated 5 Australian defenders on that occasion. And that was a bit of substandard defence from Wally Lewis, who came over in cover and was pushed off so easily. Now the penalty was awarded there to the England side. Schofield's found the line. And that's put England in a very strong attacking position inside the Australian quarter. A bit of soft defence there by Australia. This England side moving the ball out wide and looking good. Okay, the tap restart. They're working it up the blind side. Up she goes, and it's Ward who comes through with a powerful burst. He's only 10 metres out from the line. Gill goes to dummy half. Out to Fox. Fires it away to Crooks. Crooks gets a pass away to Marler. It goes to Hanley. Hanley has to take it on the bounce. He's finally put down there. Strong defence there by Australia. Sterling was up quickly with Gene Miles. Out to Liner. Liner back on the inside there to number 12, Ian Potter, the second rower. He comes up the middle there and takes tackle on the quarter line. Out to Derek Fox. Fox turns it back on the inside to Lee Crooks. Formerly played a lot of football with the Western Suburbs Club. Now we've got an Australian player going to be spoken to. It's Stephen Roach. Must have been a swinging arm in the tackle. Mr. Raskagni, I don't know that he's going to have a lot to say in English, but he's told Roach that there was a swinging arm there. It's in a relatively simple position. And Lee Crooks is the man who'll attempt to take the kick at goal. The ground looks chock-a-block to me. I can't see any empty spaces. And there's the kick from Crooks. It looks okay. No, it's not okay. So that loud roar that went up was a bit of a false one. I thought the crowd were applauding the fact that the goal had been kicked. So that's what we'd say is a let-off to the Australian side. And perhaps a salutary lesson to Stephen Roach not to give penalties away within kicking range. From the drop on the quarter, Linden takes it, and he's perfectly tackled there, Joe Linden, and a very good tackle by Gene Miles. Out there moving it to Derek Fox, out to Crooks, playing a big part in the game. Bad defence, the ball ricochets, goes to Cleal, Cleal's up the sideline. The ball came there, and he's been forced over the sideline. Great pity for Australia that he wasn't able to stay in the field of play. The ricochet came off Henderson Gill. He was able to snap it up and go up the sideline, but the big fella couldn't just keep in the field of play, and the fact that the ground was wet, the tackle took him over the sideline. The scrum going down on the England quarter. There's a scrum penalty, and it's against Derek Fox because of a incorrect feed. There's that incident again we've just seen of the good sprint by Noel Cleal. Big crusher, as he's affectionately known by all and sundry in Australia. Wally Lewis has taken the penalty. It's 7 metres into the quarter. Now let's see what they put on a move. Lewis away there to Linden. Linden comes hard and strong. He's been doing a move with Wally Lewis all the week of training. He's crawled a few yards off the mark there. Raskagni didn't penalise. Here's a bit of work coming through now nicely with a pass going back to Sterling. Gets it away to Kenny. Kenny gets it out to Kiss. And Michael O'Connor, and he's built it hard. It was Henry Henry. And the touch judges come in on Hilary Hanley and his treatment of Michael O'Connor there. That was fairly strong. I wouldn't be surprised to see him given a severe caution here. And the touch judges warning the Australian players to stay away. Hanley's the man that was the transgressor. The penalty rate at this stage after here's the incident coming up again. Now watch Hanley come in on O'Connor there, and there's a big left hand with a forearm attached to it gone in. So after about 10 minutes of play, 12 minutes perhaps, the penalties are 3-all. Okay, from the tap restart, it's out to Sterling, onto Lewis. Lewis gets back outside there to Stephen Roach, and he runs into a hornet's nest, let me tell you. He gets up, Fieldhouse is the defender there. They're throwing punches at each other. A little bit of a heavy stuff going in now as Crusher Cleal's tackled about 15 metres out. Plenty of England defence swarming all over the top of him. Simmons at dummy half, runs from dummy half. He could go in. He's been tackled only a metre short. A great little sprint there by the Penrith half-back, an Australian, Penrith dummy half, Australian half. Sterling, running around. The defence up much too quickly out there. Ellery Hanley looked to me to be a metre or two offside, but the referee didn't see it that way. Out they go on the open side, switching it out to Kenny. Kenny gets it to Miles, and Miles is in for the try. That's the opening try to Australia. Brilliant stuff too, wide spread ball, and the defence opened up wide. And I've got to tell you, there was panic in the English three-quarters. About 30 seconds before that try was on, they were waving frantically that they were short-handed out there and to get over in a hurry. We're going to see that try again. Now here's the replay coming up. Lewis fires one of those long cut-out passes to Kenny. Kenny sights Miles standing very deep, and he ran through a hole there that you could have put the Mississippi in. That was a gigantic gap. Bad defence. Bad bit of evidence there from the England side about lack of positional play. Look at the hole he's run into. I could have scored that try, but I can't run. Michael O'Connor takes the kick into the breeze. It's unsuccessful. So the score remains as it was. Australia 4, England 0. Lee Crooks has just had a little bit of a brain explosion and tried to kick the ball downfield. It went over the sideline by about 25 metres, and this gives Australia the opportunity with a scrum feed back in England's quarter. So Sterling now wanting to get this one in straight to the referee's liking. Good attacking position about 3 metres out. Wally Lewis changes sides. In it goes out to Lewis. Lewis throws a dummy. Got to pass away. It's ricocheted to Jack. It was touched in flight. That should be 6 to go. It is. Gary Jack gets up and plays it. Goes away to Lewis. Lewis gets a cut-out pass to Sterling. Out to Simmons. Simmons standing too flat. The Australian team very, very bunched there. Not giving themselves any depth. They need to stand a lot deeper. Out to Sterling. Sterling away there with a cut-out pass to Lewis. Pops a pass back inside to Miles. Miles looking for support. Gets it away to O'Connor, and he's in for the try. That's a try. Wide out. Gene Miles is the man that's done it again. Great stuff there by the Australian side, spreading the ball wide and showing that this England side can be stretched to the limit if you keep the handling going and don't push stupid passes. So Australia 8, Great Britain 0. Here's a replay of that try. Wally Lewis is popping at the pass back inside to Gene Miles. Was smart and cute. Miles got a beautifully timed pass away there to O'Connor, who came brilliantly back off his left foot on the side step to go full extension and score literally on the line. Of course, the line is in goal. Now, Michael O'Connor will have gone to school as we watch a head-on shot, showing again the class of Wally Lewis to Miles, and Miles the slipping of that pass to O'Connor. And if there's a better sidestepper in rugby league or a better balanced runner than Michael O'Connor, I've yet to see him. He's a brilliant athlete, this fella. This is going to be difficult because he's kicking into it. He's got it nicely. Oh, it just curled away. Didn't quite have the distance. Everything looked okay, but there's the scoreline. Australia 8, Great Britain 0. And the good news for Australian rugby league fans, Australia leading by 8 points to 0, and they are running into a strong breeze. Theoretically, that means that they're going to have an easier task in the second half. Early days yet. We've had 23 minutes. Anything can happen in a rugby league test. Now it's out to Roach. And he's received a pretty solid, heavy tackle up there around the neck region. Probably would have been cautioned in Sydney, but not over here. Out to Sterling. Sterling goes for the grubber kick through. It's going to roll for Lydon. He's going to be put under a bit of pressure now. The defenders come to him. Sterling's around his legs, and there's a grand tackle comes in from Linda. Henderson Gill goes to dummy half. He'll try to run from there. No, he doesn't. Confounds me. Gets it out to Turner. Then away to Goodway. Goodway goes nowhere. The tackle comes in around the legs, and it's a good one from Royce Simmons. Away there then to number 12, Ian Potter, and he got a pass away to Derek Turner, who's tackled on the England quarter line, but they're having difficulty getting through this Australian defence, apart from the occasions that Crooks runs the ball wide. Now, Fieldhouse has dropped the Crooks pass, and Australia back in possession with Miles running from dummy half, makes a good inroad, takes play midfield. They've got two sides of the ruck to work. This Australian side have got a number of moves on. Out to Sterling. Sterling goes with a little grubber kick. Kenny held it nice. I think Lewis was brought down there in the field of play. It'll be a penalty, and there's a trip, no question about it. A judged little kick over the top by Peter Sterling. The move was going to be worked with Wally Lewis. Lewis was brought down with a trip, and it will be an attempted goal to be taken by Michael O'Connor. So there's the kick coming through. Now looking on the outside, Wally Lewis, the camera work, there's the point, no question about it, quite deliberate. not what I'd call foul play. That's what I'd call a little bit of gamesmanship in that situation. You're not going to let somebody score a try free and easy. You're going to do something to stop him. He's about 20 metres off centre. He's about 17 metres out from the line. You're going to try to punch it hard. He does punch it. It is a goal. Yes, he's managed one. That's an excellent goal too. So the Australian side are starting to assume a dominance in this game with a 10 points to 0 lead. OK, we're on to the action here from a scrum, which will be an Australian feed. And this Australian side leading 10 points to 0 at the moment. 2 tries and a penalty goal. And Sterling's the feeder of the scrum, just inside their quarter. And there's a penalty to England. The crowd roar their approval. Of course, it's differential. They'll take the kick for touch or put a bomb up. I wouldn't think they would put a bomb up on second thought. The breeze is too strong. The in-goal area is too small. And the ball would get carried probably well beyond it. And the rain comes down again in sheets. That ball boy always seems to get the second ball on the field. Fieldhouse gets a return pass, gets it away to Crooks. Crooks hit beautifully there, legitimately too, by Michael O'Connor, and a head-on tackle that you don't expect wing three-quarters to bring off on second row forwards. Away there to Ward, and Ward comes on with a strong but diagonal type of a run. Couldn't straighten it up, and that put him at a disadvantage. The defensive Lewis picked him off. Out they come on the open side out to Turner. Turner away to Myler. Myler steps, goes back on the inside, lobs a pass, gone over the head there of, I think that was number 13, Andy Goodway, the lock forward, who's having an uncomfortable game. Out to Turner. Turner Crooks. Crooks, one of the more constructive players in this England side. Got a pass to Ellery Hanley there, and Hanley's big side step close as damn it to getting him away. Derek Fox goes to the kick. This could be interesting. O'Connor takes it beautifully and is taken straight over the sideline and very nearly into the fence. I was going to suggest to the Australian management before this test match that because the end goal area was so short here, that they ought to ask for padding behind the goal lines against the fence, because a player could get smashed straight into that iron fence there. And although there's advertising hoardings around it, it wouldn't be a very pleasant thing to happen. Good work there to Michael O'Connor to take that bomb under pressure. And of course we are operating under the old bomb rule here. That's a terrible drop kick by Wally Lewis. Out to Hanley. Hanley's busted a tackle. He can't get a pass away. He should have looked for support. He didn't look. He had Schofield there on the inside of him, and he just didn't look. He's tackled about 18 metres out from the Australian line. Lewis is the tackler. David Watkinson at dummy half. It's gone away to Ward. Ward runs diagonally. He needs to straighten himself up. He's just putting himself as an easy mark to the defence on the occasions he runs like that. He's lost the ball on the tackle too, and now it's a penalty against England. Double markers. And Gary Jack's going to take, is he? No. Sterling comes over and says, calm it down, Gary, calm it down. We're going to play percentage football in the first half. Maybe a little bit more flair in the second. 10-0 Australia lead at the moment. The breeze still as strong as it was. We've had 30 minutes of play. It's freezing cold up here, let me tell you. Your commentator has got hands like blocks of ice. That kick is a good one. Takes play the England side of the halfway. And Simmons is the man that restarts the tap. OK, straight there on to number 8, Dowling. And plenty of defence moving in too. The England side has put in some strong defence. Roach comes on the open side of the ruck, trying to do a burrowing job through, but he's got more ball skills than that. At the moment, Sterling with a reverse pass to Cleal. Cleal trying to stand in a tackle. Does stand in it. The ball's been knocked down. Still Australia's ball. Picked up there by Linda. Linda comes away. Gets a pass away to Simmons. Simmons to Sterling. Sterling gets it to Lewis. Lewis goes under a tackle. Gets a pass back on the inside to Linda. Australia looking good when they move the ball. Simmons now, the call has come from Sterling on the open side, out to Kenny. Kenny pops a pass to Miles. He's going strong. Gets a pass to O'Connor, and O'Connor's in for the try. No question about it. No question about it. And Miles again instrumental in a brilliant pass there to set Michael O'Connor free on the left. And this has been a fine all-round performance by Gene Miles, the scorer of the first try, and setting up being involved in 2 others. So that scoreline becoming an embarrassment now for the Great Britain side. Australia lead by 14 points to 0. And plenty of congratulations going on in there. Now here's a replay of it. A beautiful pass on the inside to Gene Miles. And Miles, that reach of the arm out around the body, the extension of the pass to the virtually unmarked Michael O'Connor. Watch the head-on shot. You'll see the brilliant way that Sterling gets the pass on nicely with a cutout to Kenny. Kenny fires it very hard to Miles, puts him right round Schofield, and then the pass, the arm reached out beautifully. Michael O'Connor, the full dive, and over. He might not be what you'd call blazing fast, Michael O'Connor, but he's damn near blazing fast. Now he's going to have the attempt from goal. This is not going to be successful, so the score will remain as it was before that attempted conversion. Australia 14, Great Britain 0. And it's now it's Michael O'Connor there, just on the outside the quarter line, getting to his feet and playing it. Graham Hughes has got one of the Australian contingent down there, Paul Langmack. Let's have a word with him.
Thanks, Rex. Paul, I saw you running out messages out to the Australian side from Donny Furner. I know we probably wouldn't get away with this back home on the sideline, but what were you saying?
Oh, Don just wants us to kick very long. With England throwing the ball around, there's chances for them to make mistakes. And with Peter Sterling, we can play the game down their end.
I noticed the Australians have certainly got the advantage, as they always have over the recent years, over Great Britain out wide, but this English pack isn't giving too much away out the middle.
No, they certainly come out all guns blazing, and all our forwards have taken a bit of flack this week, but I think our forwards are holding their own, and Steve Roach is having a great game.
All right, Rex, back to you.
Yes, thank you. I tend to slightly disagree with that. I think our forwards are doing particularly well. They put the England side under a great deal of pressure, and they're taking a power of tackling, and that is what I want to see. Big, strong work from Dowling and Roach and Niebling and these people, stopping the England from tackling them one man out. They've got to bring 2 and 3 defenders to them. That's why our backs are getting to start to look a bit good there. Out to Simmons. Simmons gets a pass away there onto Dowling, and he goes pouring up the middle again. The rain coming down into the Australians' face at the moment, with a 14-0 cushion on the breeze to come in the second half. Now Simmons is trying to punch. There's been an incident involving Stephen Roach there, that was Dowling, involving Dowling, and Simmons has seen fit to get involved with a player that was marking up. And the touch judges both are in. Russ Cagney, the referee, has moved away about 15 metres, and he's going to ask the England player, Crooks, to come to him and get him away. He's been sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes. 10 minutes for a transgression in that play the ball. So Lee Crooks off, and that is another blow to the Great Britain side. The crowd are booing. That's only 4 minutes before half-time. So he's going to have to spend another 6 minutes in the bin after the start of the second half. 14-0 at the moment. Michael O'Connor is going to attempt a penalty goal from about 18 metres out and about 20 metres off centre. The penalty count is in Australia's favour by 8-5. At this moment, and there's a replay on there that we're watching with Royce Simmons showing that he's been taught under Marquis of Queensberry rules, because the left jab came and then the right cross. And Michael O'Connor, the breeze is now 10 knots faster than it was when I spoke to you last about it. The goalposts are moving around in a frightening fashion at the Stratford end, which is the popular end of the ground. And Michael O'Connor kicking into the teeth of this. Even though he's only 18 metres out, there may be some doubt about him getting the distance. Well, not only has he got it, he's kicked it, and that is a great goal under the conditions. So the Australian side really coasting away now, and they lead by 16 points to Great Britain's 0. Well, Gary Jack is having one of his rare touches of the football. As I recollect it, he's only touched the ball 3 times in this first half. And now there's a penalty being awarded, and it's against Ward there on Roach for a stiff arm or an attempted head-high tackle. And this Great Britain side are having just a little bit of a problem at the moment, because they're losing their discipline. Goodway's being called over too. So... you're down 16 points to 0. There's not much use conceding lots of penalties and giving the relief to the opposition team. Now, Australia were in their quarter when Roach was given the workout, and now they're going to get the opportunity to make a bit of ground downfield, which Wally Lewis does with a good torpedo punt to take it over the sideline about 8 metres from the halfway line. Coming up towards the half-time break. I suggested Don Ferner, the Australian coach, would be pretty happy with proceedings. Every right to be. Dowling coming straight and hard on the burst. They're the sorts of runs that are putting the Great Britain side under pressure, forcing two men to come to him. Up they go now with Roach sucking another two to him and still getting beyond the advantage line. And now we've got the picture of Great Britain having to always be moving backwards. Simmons runs from dummy half, picked the wrong moment to do it, and they lose a yard or two there. But he didn't lose the ball. Crusher clears at dummy half. They're 8 metres into the England half. Now Cleal goes from dummy half, gets that big step of his working. That's a good incisive run of about 5 metres up the blind side. A lot of talking going on the England side at the moment. They're waving around their arms a lot. Sterling away there to Lyndon, and he comes through on the edge of the ruck, trying with the help of Sterling there to find a little gap. Simmons, Sterling, up goes the kick. Will it hang up in the air? Will it go too far? It's going to go. Oh, Kenny had it there for a minute. Picked up by Miles, but it's knocked on. Good decision there. Good decision there by the referee. But I don't really think that Tony Marchant was very keen to get underneath that one, the winger. I've got every reason to suspect that Marchant had a little attack of the flutters as the defence came pounding through after him. It's a great pity from Kenny's point of view. He's had an unfortunate match in a way. He's missed a couple of tackles. There's a scrum that's been pushed back right into the England in goal. And there's the hooter. Well, I'm sure that hooter's a throw over from WW2 when the German bombers were coming over. It was loud enough to wake the dead. But at the half-time break, we've got a situation which says that Australia have a stranglehold on this game, which is a pity for Great Britain's sake and a pity for this very large crowd, where they lead by 16 points to 0. And as you return to us, the whistle is blown and Australia is away again. They're in possession. Jack touches the ball. Fortunately for him, he's had nothing to do in the first half, which is extraordinary with the fullback playing in such awful conditions, and England weren't able to put him under any pressure at all. It's been a total failure of their kicking game, and they were not able to establish any superiority in the forwards. This is very much an Australian game, and there are the tactics coming into play right now with a kick downfield from Sterling on the third tackle. Henderson Gill will take it just inside his own quarter. He's surrounded by defenders, and there he's beaten one tackle, but there was no chance of him going any further. Niebling was the man he pushed out of the way. No changes on either side. If I didn't mention it earlier, the lights have been on since the start of this game, as we have Andy Goodway now doing a good diagonal run of about 18 metres, but only a net gain of about 5 yards. Now little Derek Fox trying to weave his way through the middle of the ruck, but the England side now getting a gigantic roar from this crowd, trying to steam them up and do something about this 16-0 that they're down. Now there's an awful error in the early part to put them right under pressure again. It was Kevin Ward there who dropped the ball about 3 metres inside his quarter, but the referee's going to put the scrum down on the quarter line. But it's a Sterling feed, and the referee, Mr. Rascagnaire, wants the scrum. And there it is. He allowed that scrum to go. It swiveled around. There's Kenny being put through a gap. A long floating pass out to Gene Miles. He dummies, goes back on the inside. Hurdles a fallen player. Gary Jack was screeching for it on the outside there. Simmons gets it away there to Lewis. Lewis gets tackled beautifully right round the legs by the fullback Joe Lydon. Now Simmons at dummy half. Away to Roach. Roach goes up the blind side of the ruck. Takes a couple to tackle him. He's got some shoulder problems, but he's not showing any of it today. Playing very strongly and courageously. Out there to Sterling. Sterling onto Jack with a runaround move. And now they're putting their moves together. Let's see whether Sterling can judge a kick on this occasion, which won't go over the dead ball line. He's kicked it out wide. It's Marchant looking for it. It's been knocked on by an Australian player. Fielded by Gary Schofield, only about a metre from his line. And that is a bit of a let-off for them at that moment. Marchant comes away with a dummying run. He's the right winger for the England side. He hasn't touched the ball and showed a marked reluctance not so long ago to attempt to go for a ball that was kicked to him on the full. Now we've got a penalty been awarded against Australia for interference in the play of the ball there, pushing and shoving. 16-0 the score in Australia's favour. The conditions appalling, absolutely appalling. The rain sheeting down, and the breeze has not abated. The temperature's dropped about 5 degrees since the start of the game. And a player would, if he were not active for long in this game, could die of exposure out there. There's a ball being stolen. The referee must have called tackle because he's immediately penalised the Australian side. Niebling, I think, was the man that stole the ball. and he's quite rightly penalised. What we can't determine is the referee having called tackle. Now Schofield goes for the kick, and it's the bad kick again, compounding the flood of errors. There's a beautiful pass back on the inside by Michael O'Connor to Gary Jack after the ball was fielded and saved from going over the sideline. So England on the rack once again. They're only, this is the first tackle. They're back on their quarter line. On there to Dowling. He's ploughed forward all day and a very strong performance up front. Won't take a backward step. Simmons at dummy half. It's away to Sterling. Sterling gets a pass to Lewis. Lewis goes there to Miles. Away to Linda. Linda goes for the sprint. And he's made a good inroad. Gets a pass away to Kenny. Kenny gets it away to Les Kiss. Kiss goes up the sideline. He's tackled well. That's a good bit of cover defence there by Goodway. Coming across, saved a certain try. And that looked like the Australian right wing three-quarter was going to go in and put a pair on for the Australian wings. But there it was. Good cover defence coming across from Andy Goodway. Has nipped a try in the bud. Now Lee Crooks is back on the field again. Just come in. He served his sentence of 4 minutes of the first half and 6 in the second. He was set off for 10 minutes for an infringement. Now Wally Lewis is in trouble with the referee. The referee's penalised Australia. Now this would be a very interesting conversation going on down there at the moment. Wally doesn't talk French and Raskagni doesn't talk English. Anyway, they made themselves understood with sign language, and it doesn't matter what he says, he's right, is the referee. All right, back after the kick for touch has got them to the quarter line. England now with Fieldhouse trying to run the ball, but he's running sideways, as so many of the English players are. They don't get themselves running in a forward position, in a forward direction. This little fella's done more front running. Derek Fox, the little halfback, he does know the way to go. He hasn't got the pace to make the breaks. There's a good gap right up the middle of the ruck, and it's an England player, Ward. He's made a good bust, but a pass away which has gone astray. The ball's still there. He kicked down. Marlowe's a race for the ball. It's going to go over the dead ball line. It'll be a penalty. It's going to be a penalty to England. I'm not going to argue with that. There was a race for the ball. I think Wally Lewis might have been the player that was holding on to Marler and failing to let him get through and chase the ball. Nobody's going to argue about that. The penalty will be awarded about 13 metres out from the Australian line. And here it is. Now, this is Ward coming through. He evaded several defenders. A bit of parlous defence there. Cleel came over, finally put him down. The ball ricocheted off Schofield, went to Niebling, was kicked through by Myler. And at this stage, it was Kenny and Sterling both holding on to Myler as the ball was kicked over the dead ball line. Now, Lee Crooks is going to take the kick. He's just come back in time to do that. And this can get England on the board. If he does manage it, wait for the roll. Lee Crooks. He's got the goal. So Australia 16, England 2. That is a Sterling feed. He's watching from the open side. It's in and out with the assistance of hands. So it's the Great Britain side. They've got the differential penalty. Now they're getting a little bit more momentum in their play at the moment. The England forwards have just started to run a little straighter, a little harder, taking an example from their halfback Fox. Now let's see what they can do from this point. Out to Crooks. Dalmaninga warming up on the sideline. There's a pass to Marler. Marler was nearly put through on that. A gap by Goodway. The Australian defence caught a little bit there. And again, we have two footballs on the field. Away it goes out on the open side of the ruck to Crooks. Crooks trying to weave his way through. Got to pass away brilliantly to Schofield. And Schofield's in for a try. Great work there by Crooks. Stood in a tackle. And was able to spin the pass to Schofield, the ever-present. And Schofield has popped over and scored a try close to the Australian goal post, about 15 metres to the right-hand side. So is this a comeback by the Great Britain side? 16 points to 6. Here's the play that we're seeing on the action. And there's Crooks showing that great ability of his to step, gets through the two tackles. They took him low, didn't interfere with his defence, with his ability to offload the football. Dowling went in around the waist. I would have thought you'd go a little higher with a man of his size and known ball skills. But he was able to stand in that tackle, and Schofield will always make himself available to score a try in that situation. And the kick from Crooks hits the upright and rebounds into the field of play. So the score then is Australia 16, Great Britain 4. Great Britain in possession after the kick-off. Ellery Hanley was the man to take it. Now they're trying to work the play out of their quarter line, and the news is that Mal Meninga is on the field for Les Kiss. Graham Hughes, have you any information on that?
Les Kiss was injured in a tackle about 10 minutes ago. He is carrying his left shoulder at the moment, Rex. It's apparently ligament trouble. Meninga out here on the right wing.
Okay, so there you have it. Now these players are all offside, the Great Britain's players, and now it's picked up by Meninga, and by picking the ball up and running the required distance, he puts them onside. Henderson Gill has come in very strongly there and stolen the ball off Mal Meninga's first touch. And Henderson Gill getting very frenetic there at the moment. Fieldhouse runs. He gets a pass out there to number 9, David Watkinson. It's out to Lee Crooks, and Crooks has gone cross field. The defence picks him up. It was Peter Sterling and Wally Lewis together. Fox at dummy half gets it away there to number 12, Ian Potter, and he makes an inroad up the blind side of the ruck. 16 points to 4, Australia lead. And yes, and we're seeing a strange sight here. It's the sun. Beautiful hands there. Lovely pass has gone on the outside. It's Great Britain going upfield with Linden on the sprint. He's going to go round Jack, and he's beaten Gary Jack beautifully. It's a great try to the Great Britain side. Magnificent try. Absolutely superb. It's brought the house down. Absolutely superb. Be well worthy of a replay on that occasion. Wyden was the try scorer, no question about that. The earlier work there was some brilliant passing. Myler was involved. And of course, there was a pass there too that would have brought the accolade from Daly Messenger himself. Wyden, the man that scored the try. Great Britain 10, Australia 16, a kick at goal to follow. Here's a replay coming up now, and this is going to be a good one. Turner, out to Fox rather, then to Crooks, a long cut-out pass, magnificently taken by Myler, then on to the lock forward, who got a pass away to Lydon, and there he goes, streaking up the sideline and wrong-footed Gary Jack completely. Jack stood off him, thought he could get to him and hem him in on the sideline, wasn't able to do that. So now there's a bit of a conference going on in the Australian in-goal area, as indeed there needs to be. Lee Crooks' kick looks a good one. Oh, he's only just fallen short. So 16 points to 10 at this stage, with this Great Britain side showing a marvellous comeback, and strangely against this strong breeze. Here's a replay again. Watch the hands there. That was Goodway's lovely pass out the line. And this is where that great sprint took place. Although he's carrying the ball in the wrong hand, he hasn't got a hand to use as a fin there, but he wrong-footed Gary Jack. We've got to assume that he's got a little bit of pace on him, because I thought Jack would comfortably get to him, and he was wrong-footed and left standing. The ball goes from the kick-off into the in goal. It goes off Gill and over the net ball line. Rather clumsy on that occasion, although it is very wet and very slippery and the breeze is strong. But Henderson Gill there did show an unathletic approach to that. Didn't show much agility. Now Australia will get the opportunity to get this ball back. Probably they won't be able to drop kick this far, although that's not a bad drop. It's gone straight to Sterling. He's weaved his way back up to the quarter line before he's tackled there finally by number 9, and that's David Watkinson. Now we've got Simmons at dummy half. He gets it away there to Cleal, and Cleal's trying to surge his way through the middle of a ruck. He got his hands free, but just as he was about to pop the pass, Crooks came over the top and smothered him. Simmons up the blind side to Roach. Roach can't get his hands free. And in goes Crooks again. Crooks doing some very good things for this Great Britain side. Out they go, the Australians, out to Lewis. Lewis steps, weaves, busts the tackle, gets a pass away to Miles, and Miles is in beside the post. And Wally Lewis has created a magnificent try for Gene Miles, who's gone over and scored right beside the post. And now we've got the picture of Wally Lewis being attended to here. I was watching the play go on. We're watching it now on a replay. I'll pay more attention to him. Here he goes now, stepping through the gap, goes nicely, pops the pass at this point, and it didn't appear to me, I couldn't see that he got some particular serve, but he's not lying down there for nothing, and he simply hasn't moved. He's got one arm stretched out above his head, and the leg, as you can see, pulled up in a sort of a semi-fetal position. And it's a player being sent to the sideline there, Graham Hughes. That's Lydon's being sent from the field, and I think he's been given 10 minutes in the sin bin.
10 minutes in the bin, Rex. I was going to say I haven't got the opportunity of the replay monitors down here on the sideline, but Wally, in fact, had unloaded the ball, and in fact, when he had hit the ground, the cameras had probably moved away from him. It was some moments after he'd unloaded the ball that he was given the late tackle. Thankfully, the touch judge didn't miss it. That's why Lydon's back in here in the tunnel for 10 minutes.
Okay, anyway, we've come up with Gene Miles. They're watching a head-on shot now. This may show the latter stages of it. Miles beautifully evaded the fieldhouse tackle. Well, there was a little bit of an elbow in there. I don't really think that it got him flush that he was so badly hurt. But Wally would know more about that than I would. He's getting slowly to his feet. Michael O'Connor now from about 8 metres out. Strikes that nicely. So the scoreline moves on to a tally now, just working for it. Great Britain 10, Australia 22. Now with the scrum going down on the quarter, with Fox trying to get it in. It goes in, and it's a crooked feed against Fox. Gill was round the side of the scrum very smartly to pick up the ball, but he has had to give it back, and Lewis now is going to take the kick. Let's see where they put a move on. There it is, today's attendance. Magnificent sight to see, 50,583. I think the largest soccer crowd they've had here this year is something around 46,000. That's for the famous Manchester United club. Okay, Australia in a strong position now. Niebling dumbing to go up the blind side, turns it back into Cleal. Cleal on the surge. Defence stops him about 8 metres out. He's quickly to his feet. Simmons at dummy half. Out there to Sterling, onto Lewis, onto Kenny. Kenny's got the acceleration, got it to Miles, got it out there beautifully to O'Connor, and O'Connor's in again. 3 tries in a test match, and I'll get my statistician John Barris to tally up how many points he scored, because this is going to be a day that he will long remember. And again, Gene Miles, a magnificent pass. 18 points he scored in this match so far. What a lovely debut in English rugby league test matches in England, that is, to come in with 3 tries in your first test. Reg Gasnier did it in 1959. And now we've got Michael O'Connor doing it today. Miles with a beautiful pass, and Kenny setting it up magnificently on the inside. And this Great Britain's side are very vulnerable out wide when the Australian forwards have done their job in tight and sucked the defenders in, and then they offload it out quickly. Those English backs are nowhere. They're nowhere to be seen in defence. It's getting to be a bit of an embarrassment, the number of tries that they're conceding through what is ostensibly the best 3-quarter line in Great Britain. Michael O'Connor from wide out, about 5 metres in from the sideline, got the breeze virtually at his back. Has he got the distance? He hasn't, not quite, just fell short. So that scoreline now, Australia 26, Great Britain 10, as back come the Great Britain side. Takes it up to the quarter line. Australia's still keen to go on with the scoring. They've scored 26 points to 10 at this stage. It's away to Dowling, and he's on the plough forward hard and up past that advantage line, which gives the Australian backs all the chance to attack when they get it. Out to Simmons. Simmons away there nicely to Niebling. Niebling to Lewis. Lewis away to Lindner. Lindner out to Kenny. Kenny to Miles. Miles gets the pass knocked down. Taken by Gill. It'll be knocked on. Surely the crowd don't want to try from that. He knocked the ball forward 4 yards. What do they want? Honey on their bread. Bless my soul. Come on, English fans. You know the rules as well as I do. Okay, the scrum will go down with an Australian feed about 18 metres out. Here's watch a replay and see how far he knocked it on. There was a try at the end of this. If Kenny's pass had been, if Miles's pass had been able to just clear that last man, Henderson Gill, he couldn't, and the try doesn't go. Well, that looked a crooked feed to me, and I don't argue with Russ Cagney there at all. But he's gone for the hands in the scrum. I thought the crooked feed was the way to go. It gives a breather to the Great Britain side. They've been hemmed in up there for 6 or 7 minutes. Schofield's kick is successful over the sideline. Henderson Gill screams up to take it, gives it into his skipper Watkinson, who's going to take the tap. Out it goes to Crooks. Crooks there to Ward. And he's belted to the ground by Sterling. 3 defenders there. Linder, too, was one of the effective players. Out to Crooks. He tries to get a tackler pass away on the inside, one-handed. Couldn't do that. England forwards have looked better in the second half, but they were a non-event in the first half, in my view. Australian pack were all over them. About 12 metres outside the England quarter. Little kick through. Should be fielded by Meninga. And he fields it neatly. Had to dive full length to take it. Little kick over the top there. The attacking chance was on. Andy Goodway's all over him like a Black Death there. Gene Miles stands in a tackle and Goodway picks him up. And the ball's lost backwards. Strong defence by Goodway. Simmons was able to fall on it, onto Lewis. Lewis to Dowling. Dowling runs at Fieldhouse. A bit of a punch gone into there, and Dowling reacts with a bit of strong work too, with the legs. And it's Lee Crooks who's going to get the penalty awarded against him. Failure to get off the tackle player, giving Wally Lewis the opportunity again to spiral that ball into touch on the popular side of the ground here at Old Trafford. It's a kick that's not going to find touch. Breeze has done something to that. Marchant feels it. And he hasn't had much to do out there. Hasn't gone looking for the ball at all on the right flank. They're moving it now in dangerous fashion out along their line, near their line. Little Fox comes away with a little jinking type of a run that the crowd enjoyed. The little fellow has certainly shown that he's not overawed by the size of the Australian players. That pass was forward. It's picked up by their Linder. He could go in and score a try. Schofield's coming at him. He's going hard and straight, and he's taken the ball to within about half a metre of the line. Very powerful run by the Australian lock forward. Going to get to his feet and play it. Miles is a dummy half. It's away to Meninga. Meninga can't do a thing because the defence was up very quickly, but it's 6 to go. The ball was touched in flight. Now Simmons fires it away to Sterling. Sterling out there to Niebling. Niebling gone for the cutout pass. It's gone straight to Jack. He tried to straighten the attack up, but the defence was there in numbers. Schofield was one of them. Away to Lewis. Lewis away to Dowling. He got a pass away to O'Connor, looking for number 4 to Lewis. Out there to Sterling. Sterling loses the ball forward. Picked up by Fieldhouse, I think. We'll see. Now the referee says knock-ons both ways. 26 points to 10. Australia lead. And the scrum going down about 10 metres out from the Great Britain line. And it's a Great Britain win. But he's picked off straight away. I think the Australian lock there, Bob Linder, was out pretty quickly, out before the ball was out. And the Goodway there, strong play in the second half, had an ordinary first half. Moving it out to Fox, out there to Crooks. Crooks going for a long cutout pass. Should be a try. Brett Kenny, the ever-present, the man who's always there with a loose ball, swooped on it, got the pass to Gene Miles, a dummy half. He could go close. I think he's held up in goal, is he? The referee, what's he going to do? It's a try. He's ruled that Miles has scored the try, so that's 3 tries for Gene Miles, and a scoreline that's now moved on to Australia 30, Great Britain 10. That was a very soft try because the ball was put down after a Lee Crooks pass had gone astray. And unfortunately, we're going to see a replay now. It came about because Kenny was able to get to the loose ball quickly, and Miles, we're watching the battle from head on. Yes, it appears to me that he actually grounded the ball on the line. Certainly, his body's well in the in-goal area, and that's a continuation of the bad defence there by some of the Great Britain players. 30 points to 10 in Australia's favour. Kick and goal by Michael O'Connor from very close. Only 8 metres out. Directly in front. Over she goes. 32 points to 10. Australia lead. England tried a short kick-off there that could have come off. It didn't, but Wally Lewis was able to pick it up only about 10 metres from the halfway line. And then Sterling had the misfortune to throw a bad pass out there to Michael O'Connor. And O'Connor was knocked the ball on. So this is an England scrum feed midway between the quarter and the halfway. And the referee, Mr. Rascagni, continuing the consistency of his penalties throughout. We've had 13 penalties all, and he's been very consistent throughout with his scrums. The scrums screw around a lot by Australian standards, but nonetheless he's penalised without fear or favour both ways on an equal number of occasions. The kick has been taken. It's a gain of about 15 metres. Mal Meninga coming up to get involved in the action. And he got to within 10 metres of that quarter line. Out to Cleel. Cleel on the surge, and he's a strong player. And he's about 4 metres from the quarter line right now with Simmons there screeching for it at dummy half. Get up quick, he says. Way to Sterling. Sterling to Simmons, the run around. Then back on the inside to Roach. Roach can't get a pass away. Meninga was tackled on suspicion there. Simmons, Lewis, Sterling steps beautifully. Can't get a pass away. He's tackled about 8 metres out, perhaps 10 metres. And now it goes on there to Lindner. Lindner pops the pass back on the blind side. It's knocked backwards behind them, but it's the last tackle coming up now. This Australian side looking to score more points. Simmons away to Sterling. He's got the kick across field. Dangerous tactics. Taken by Jack, and Jack's in for a try. There will be something will say he may well have been a yard offside. Only a direct side-on shot would show that. But certainly the kick was a magnificently weighted one and has further embarrassed this Great Britain side. So we've got 35 minutes gone in the second half. We've got a scoreline that reads 36 points to 10. And certainly this is developing into an embarrassing afternoon for the Great Britain side. We're going to see the action again of that. And I'll try if we can from this angle to see whether Jack was onside. And there is an element of doubt in my mind, but he certainly took the ball beautifully from the Sterling kick and was able to take it over. Lamb is on. He will take over the lock forward role. Linder is off, and he's played very well, has Rob Linder, so he'd have no reason for concern about that. Michael O'Connor now getting a very, very simple couple of kicks. That's a good one. So there it is, 38 points to 10. Australia lead Great Britain. Derek Fox, who's going to be the man to place the ball on the mark. I must say I'm agreeably surprised after a rather uncomfortable start. I'm reasonably surprised and happy with Mr. Raskagni's performance. I thought he's done quite well as a referee today. He's been very, very consistent, and obviously he enjoys covering Anglo-Australian Test matches. Okay, Terry Lamb's going to touch the ball for the first time there. He's on with his right knee strapped up. He's at dummy half. And now he's got the pass away to Sterling. Sterling's gone for the downfield kick. It won't find touch, or will it? Yes, it does. It had a beautiful left-hand bias on that. Dutchie Holland would really have loved that one for a bit of a leg break. And we've got the scrum going down only about 5 metres outside the Great Britain quarter line. The scrum moving around a bit. The referee not very happy with it. And the ball is in right now. It's won by the Great Britain side. Out to Myler. Myler gets it away to Liner. Liner out to Schofield. Out there to Hanley. Hanley away to Henderson Gill. Gill evades one defender. Goes up the sideline. He's evaded another one. Throws a dummy. Gary Jack takes him courageously head on. There's plenty of defence there. And that was Gene Miles too. And there's a penalty going to be awarded against the Australian player there, Gene Miles, for failure to get off the tackled player. The kick's been taken now. Can Great Britain salvage anything out of this with a couple of tries in the last dying stages of the game? Certainly they're not going to salvage anything in the way of prestige, but maybe a little bit of self-pride could come up. All right. The crisscross move being worked. Crooks has gone right through the middle of the gap. Showed a pass back on the inside. Look forward to the referee has allowed it. Gone to Schofield. And Crooks has come up with another pass that deserves a try, although I must be very honest and say I thought the last pass was marginally forward. But the referee, Mr. Raskagni, was fairly adjacent to it and didn't rule that way. So this is another possible 6 points to the Great Britain side. 38 points to 14. A very, very high-scoring game in such atrocious conditions. Now, who's going to take the kick? It's going to be Henderson Gill, I think. Lee Crooks is... There's the move that led to the try. Oh yes, so no doubt in my mind that last pass was... no doubt in my mind that Miles was that last pass from Crooks was was a forward pass, but who's going to argue this late state in the game? 38 points to 14. Henderson Gill struck that well. 38 points to 16.
Number 5, Henderson Gill.
And back come the Australian side, and there's the hooter. And the hooter is sounding the death knell of the hopes of the coach of the Great Britain side, because I think he really thought, Maurice Bamford, that he had the makings of a team that can hold this Australian side, and unfortunately the wheel has fallen well and truly off today. They've had a real hammering in lots of areas of the game, not the least of which has been the dominance, in my view, of the Australian forwards, and a total re-emergence and resurgence of form by Gene Miles, who's had a spectacular game in the centre. Very, very closely followed by Michael O'Connor, and a whole heap of very good performances in the forwards. I think probably Steve Roach and Dowling were two of the players that showed that they were going to be difficult. The Australian side is just going over there to acknowledge the fact that there's a giant squad of Australian supporters over there. There must be a couple of hundred in green and gold jerseys. They're all waving their arms and cheering, and they've got every reason to cheer. So, Graham Hughes, I would suggest that that is what would be called a flogging in anyone's language. 38 points to 16.
The Aussies required one more wicket.
Pat Cummins, he's his man for the moment.